America, the boiling frog. The United States of America is officially the boiling frog. What do I mean by that? If you take a frog and put it anywhere near a boiling pot, it will run away because it knows that the heat will kill it. However, if you leave that same frog in a pot of water that starts out cool and you slowly heat up the water, the frog will slowly adjust its body temperature upwards while the water heats up. If the water temperature changes only a bit at a time, the frog will fail to notice and escape the heat. The frog will remain in the water until it reaches a boiling point. The frog would overheat and die. It will not recognize the danger it's in until it's too late. This is essentially what is happening to America today. America is the frog and Mr. Trump is the hot water. Mr. Trump is the hot water that America is in now, but we don't realize it because the danger he poses didn't become apparent all at once. Over the last 8 years, Trump has painstakingly laid the groundwork for what he's about to do once elected. He has also slowly helped us adjust to ever more outrageous behavior, so much so that when he commits the ultimate act of treason, no one will notice. I will offer 6 key pieces of evidence that leads me to the conclusion that once elected, Mr. Trump will never leave office. Evidence number 1. Trump almost signed an ominous executive order in December 2020 when he realized he'd lost the election. The order was to cease all voting machines across the United States of America. Fortunately for us all, he didn't follow through with this because he didn't think he had enough sycophants around him to carry it forward. Further, he was afraid it might not be legal. Since then, Trump has been granted immunity by a Supreme Court that he created for exactly this purpose: immunity for any official acts. Such an order would be considered an official act under this dangerous ruling. Do you think anyone will be able to stop him if he decides to do something like that again? Evidence number 2. Trump has made it very clear that he admires dictators. He thinks Putin is very smart. Did you know that Putin was elected democratically in 2000 for a 4-year term in Russia? After he won, he abolished presidential term limits, changed the constitution, and became a dictator. 24 years later, he's still Russia's president. Trump also thinks Viktor Orban is brilliant. Trump gave Orban props even in the most recent presidential debate as someone who is brilliant. Guess what Viktor Orban did? He was elected in 2010 to serve a 4-year term in Hungary as the president. Since then, he has dismantled Hungary's constitution. Today, he amends it at will, and he has manipulated every election to remain in power for 12 years. Trump admires Kim Jong-un, the North Korean supreme leader who rules North Korea with an iron fist. Trump thinks Hitler did some good things. Mind you, Hitler was also elected democratically in Germany right before he abolished the title of president, suspended Germany's constitution, and proceeded to murder 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Such is the deadly cost of allowing power to go unchecked. Evidence number 3. Trump has already attempted a coup on January 6, 2021. Under normal circumstances, the punishment for a coup would be swift and unequivocal. In fact, most of the people who were tried for those crimes were found guilty for helping Trump in the coup attempt. Trump has not been punished. What does Trump get? He gets immunity and support from the entire party. Why? He'll just come back and finish the job. This time, much bolder. During his term, he will have plenty of time to fill the ranks of the government with loyalists who will carry out every last depraved wish of his. In Justice Sotomayor's dissenting opinion on the immunity Supreme Court ruling, she made it clear that by giving him immunity, you are making him a king. American heard this and ignored it, and thus the boiling frog got hotter and closer to her own demise. Evidence number 4. Trump is the very first president to run for office after having been convicted of a crime. Trump is a felon. He has been convicted of fraud, and it is publicly known that his many businesses have committed fraud. Before the Trump era, the very idea of being charged with a crime would instantly disqualify anyone for the office of president, but not Trump. In fact, he has said that he could walk down Fifth Avenue in New York and shoot somebody, and instead of going to jail, he would gain more supporters. Are these not the words of someone who believes he is above the law? Why, if after all of this he wins the election, he will truly believe he is beyond reproach, untouchable by the law. It's already happening. All the criminal cases against him have been paused so he could run for president. If he wins, he will make all those cases go away completely and cement his status as a king above the law. Evidence number 5. Trump has made it abundantly clear that loyalty is the most important thing for any appointments to his administration. It has nothing to do with merit, nothing to do with experience, and nothing to do with loyalty to the Constitution of the United States. No, the most important thing for Trump is loyalty to himself. So it follows that in the next 4 years he will recruit the most loyal sycophants he can find. Chief of them will be the Jan 6 rioters. He's already said he would pardon them. All he has to do is recruit people like that. Give them high office in the government. In fact, he could put them in charge of the military and ensure that they support him when he decides not to leave office. Evidence number 6. Trump in a rally with Christians told them, won't have to vote anymore if they helped get him elected. After this, what did Republicans do? They said he misspoke. He was just joking. He didn't mean it. Tell me, what president in history has made jokes like that and gotten away with it? Here's the kicker. When Elon Musk appeared at a rally with Trump a few weeks later, he echoes those same words, only this time accused Harris of being the one who will end all voting. Let's be clear, this can only mean one thing, that these two men have discussed and agreed that Trump will be in power indefinitely elected. Before the Trump era, this would be picked up by the media and cause a big ruckus, and eventually lead to the candidate being disqualified. Not Trump. Instead, he uses this to test the waters and see whether Americans would be okay with a dictator coming to office. And the answer we've given is a resounding yes! Since then, Americans have not only ignored this, he has gotten more support. Until now, no one in America has been above the law, except Trump. You might ask, why isn't this a big deal? If this is all true, how come citizens are not up in arms and protesting and making a whole lot of noise until Trump is removed from the nomination for president? The answer is simple. America has become the boiling frog. Over the last 8+ years, Trump has gotten Americans so used to the most outrageous news coming out of him, his administration, his team, and eventually the entire Republican Party. So much so that when the next outrageous thing is said, we dismiss it, thinking it's our new normal. We now see it as normal. It has become normal to have someone who's a convict running for president. It's normal to have someone who lies through his teeth every time he opens his mouth to speak to Americans. It has become normal to have someone say that the election is unfair unless it goes his way, and truly mean it. It's normal to have a president who admires the most brutal dictators in history and wants to be like them. It's normal to even get out there and say that you might kill journalists, jail your opponents. It's now normal to threaten that people will not vote again after voting for you, this despite the fact that we have many examples in history of people who were elected democratically and proceeded to dismantle their democracy. We think the American system is very solid and nothing can happen to it. Well, wake up America, you are now the boiling frog. Do something about it. Remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There never was a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. John Adams.